my prediction. I think Bitcoin in 2022 or at the beginning of 2023 will hit 250,000. And that is a big move from where it is here. And I think that the reason there is that Bitcoin will be the currency of choice. I mean, right now you have this choice, and Bitcoin's not as easy to move around, but eventually it will be. And then you'll have a choice, and you'll say, hey, do I want to pay the banks 2.5% to 4% every time I swipe my credit card, or do I want a currency that's frictionless, open, transparent, global, and not tied to any political force? I mean, this is it. At some point, people are going to make that switch, and Bitcoin is going to be the big winner.
Tim, 250,000 is 25x plus from where it is right now. So if you really think it's going to be there in 2 to 3 years, what percentage of your net worth do you have in it today?
I never tell anybody that kind of thing, but a lot of it.
I mean, but if you're telling viewers 250,000, if you're going to put that number out there, you got to at least give me a ballpark. I mean, is it half? Is it a third?
It's a lot. It is a lot. And
well, for
I'm
you,
just
1%
a believer.
is a lot for most
and
people,
I look and I say, hey, this is just better. Long term, people move to things that are better. What merchant is going to want to pay their 2.5% to 4% to the banks and the credit card companies? I mean, they're not going to want to do that forever. At some point, they're going to say, hey, this Bitcoin, why don't we accept Bitcoin, because hey, we can now use OpenNode, and the transaction happens instantly, and it's faster than a Visa network, and we don't have to pay these guys 2.5% to 4%.
Lucas writes in, he said, did Justin Sun change your mind on cryptocurrencies? For anybody who doesn't know, Justin Sun bought the dinner or the lunch that you just had from the last Glide Foundation fundraiser. He is actively involved in Bitcoin. After that meeting, his PR people put out some notes saying that, you know, you kind of listened to cryptocurrency and maybe you're a little more in tune with the idea of Bitcoin now.
Well, I would say this. When Justin and 4 friends came, they behaved perfectly, and we had a good 3.5-hour dinner, and the whole thing was a very friendly exchange of ideas. But cryptocurrencies basically have no value, and they don't produce anything. So you can look at your little ledger item for the next 20 years, and it says you've got X of this cryptocurrency or that. It doesn't reproduce. It doesn't deliver it. It can't mail you a check. It can't do anything. And what you hope is that somebody else comes along and pays you more money for it later on. But then that person's got the problem. But in terms of value, zero.
So it sounds like he did not change your position.
No, but I didn't change his either. And I had a very pleasant dinner, and those people they behaved more than well. And they gave 4.6, or Justin gave 4.6 million to Glide, and that will buy a lot of meals and provide a lot of beds for people in San Francisco. So I thank him.
He gave you some Bitcoin. What's it feel like to be a Bitcoiner?
I don't have any Bitcoin.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
No.
You don't own Bitcoin?
No, I do not own one. I don't own any cryptocurrency. I never will. And in the end, I may start a war on currency. Maybe I can create one, and I'll say there's only going to be 21 million of them, and you can have a little ledger sheet from me and everything that says you have it, and you can have it after I die, but you can't do anything with it except sell it to somebody else. And the interesting thing, of course, is that Bitcoin's been out there a long time, and people talked about how it would be used in various kinds of exchange, but none of our companies are doing business in Bitcoin or anything. Bitcoin has been used, I think, to move around a fair amount of money illegally. So the people,
maybe in countries where you have a hard
so
time
the logical move from the introduction of Bitcoin is to go short suitcases, because the money that was taken in suitcases from one country to another, suitcases will probably fall off in demand. I mean, so you can look at that as the economic contribution of Bitcoin to the society.
Welcome to the Cryptoteacher. And guys, please like and subscribe. Remember, if you like what you hear, please tell your friends and family. because basically this is going to be a roller coaster year. If they want to protect their pensions, 401ks, your gold, your silver, make sure they listen in. So then therefore, basically they know what moves to make. Now we're going to go over Tim Draper, Warren Buffett, who spoke on CNBC, and then also what's in forecast for today. So what do I tell you about billionaires? Don't listen to anything they say. Only watch where their money is at. Tim Draper saying 250,000 over 2 to 3 years. I don't know whether it's going to hit 250,000. Like I stated, my range is 20 to 50,000. But the fact is that he said that Bitcoin is going to be used by the people, which is totally incorrect. He's a billionaire. He knows this is not going to happen. He clearly said that who would want to pay the bank money fees when they don't have to? That's the whole point of our system. Do you really think, remember I told you, you would never be able to beat the Fed? It's the House. You never beat the House. They control all the money. So the fact that they will never give up those fees, the whole point of moving you on to blockchain is to cut fees for them. They're not going to cut fees for you. When you're buying Bitcoin off these exchanges, you're paying fees. Same way if you were at a bank doing banking transactions. Some of you may have been gotten more if you're on Coinbase, because Coinbase gets you. So the fact is that what he said was half truth. Remember that, guys. The devil is always in the details. Remember that. And they said it on CNBC all the time. The devil is in the details. He will give you half truth. Going over to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett said that he doesn't own any Bitcoin. But the fact is that you don't have to own any Bitcoin. You don't have to own any cryptocurrencies. But he has the money set aside where he can buy all these companies in 1 second. Now, if you take BYD, which is the electric company for the actual cars, which he made plenty of money off of, and he has partnership. Now, BYD has the partnership with VeChain. So guys, we have to make sure that we're connecting the dots. Because don't forget, Warren Buffett is the same guy that was involved with the Moody scandal, which was rating paper, F paper to A paper. Warren Buffett was the same guy that was in the bond scandal. The Salmon brothers. If you actually see how Berkshire Hathaway came about with all the shell companies to avoid taxes, you would look at Warren Buffett to the person that he is, and he's a businessman. I have nothing against Warren Buffett, but I know this old guy smiling, laughing, I know that's not him. Because I researched the details. I researched the money. All the shell companies that were created to dodge taxes is out of this world. And the only thing you have to do is do your research. I may do a full video on him because it's just amazing. It will blow your mind on the transactions that were done to avoid taxes and these shell companies. And they were like the big creators. Now you see it all the time, shell companies, but they were the inventors. Of course, Walmart used to create a separate company for their real estate and then rent from themselves to dodge taxes. But that's a whole nother story in itself. But definitely you can't listen to a billionaire. You have to go and follow the money and what they're exactly saying. All right, guys. Now, basically, Tether has been pumping for the past 4 days. We have CME and Bitmex. Remember, I informed you this last week that remember they always dump a few days before, a few days after. As we can see, we're coming down. So this is nothing but Bitmex and CME. So basically, we're going to take a slight pullback, and then we're going to get that pump. We should pump up to 11,000. Now, we got 25 billion, 30 billion was due, 46 billion was due. They did a repo for 49 billion. So we only had 4 billion. So that's the reason why now you see the pullback. Now you see the reason why we dumped 1,000 yesterday, because they didn't have any intentions on pumping like they normally do. We normally have 20, 30, 40 billion to work with. It's not that. They just pull back the amount of money they've been putting inside of the repo. So I just want to make sure you understand where we're at. That's the reason why the stock market went down. Cryptos have nothing to do with that as far as the liquidity. It's just Bitmex and CME. But we are going to get that pump, guys, after that. Now, guys, don't forget I have btcteacher.com. You can get the book. Also, go on Amazon to get the book. Also, I have the links, Coinbase, Bitrue, and Binance for your cryptos, Robinhood for your stocks. Don't forget, everything's going to have a chip in it. And also, don't forget about the mineral cobalt, because you need it for the batteries. But you have a wonderful day. Thank you a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. Tell your friends and family, because, guys, we're definitely going to have a roller coaster year.